is an absolutely beautiful country. I have been to Rio, Curitiba. I have visited Foz do Iguaçu and Brasilia. So I definitely had the opportunity to explore your country. I am located in Denver, Colorado, so that's a little bit in the western part of the United States. And like most of you, I am working from home, or I'm at home. So here in the United States, many people are staying at home right now, like you guys, and we are what we call social distancing in order to protect our communities. But we're hoping to be back together soon. So all across the world, we're doing the same thing, and I feel so grateful to get to connect with you. So without further ado, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the application process and applying to schools within the US. And I'm also going to speak to some of our policies and requirements for the University of Colorado, Denver. So let's start with a little overview. Okay, so the University of Colorado, Denver has a lot of incredible programs. We have 150 degree programs. We are an urban public research institution, and we offer programs at the undergraduate, the graduate, and the doctorate level. And I'm going to get into some of the stuff regarding subjects like studying medicine and law in the United States a little bit later, because we do have a medical school, and I know some of you might be interested in that as well. So we have some really unique programs at the University of Colorado, Denver. We have public health, which is very important right now at the undergraduate level. And you won't necessarily find that at other schools. So public health is a very special subject that we study here. We also have business, medicine. You can study subjects for pre-law. We have sports management, because the University of Colorado, Denver is located near 6 professional sports teams. And we also have cool stuff like singer-songwriter programs, music entertainment, 3D animation. If you've ever seen the movie Frozen, one of the creators of Frozen actually graduated from the University of Colorado, Denver. So lots of fun subjects to study. Okay, so we are definitely focused on career outcomes at the University of Colorado, Denver, because that's really, really important to you guys. So we have some ways in which students focus on their career while they're involved in their academics. We have a lot of business partnerships within the city of Denver because we are located in the city. And we have some programs that have great options for both OPT and STEM OPT, which is a little bit longer. Our students also work on campus because that is an option when you're studying on an F1 visa. You can work up to 20 hours on campus during the semester, or 40 hours when school is not in session. So plenty of options to work and grow some skills during your academic time. So let's talk about Denver. We are living in, well, I'm living in the #2 place to live in the United States. So here's the view of the city. If I were to show you the view on the other side of campus, you can see the mountains. The Rocky Mountains are located very close to the University of Colorado, Denver. They're absolutely beautiful. I'd also add that we have 300 days of sunshine a year. So even though it gets a little bit cold sometimes, the sun's actually shining outside today. You know, you can kind of see in the background, but lots of sun. So it melts the snow pretty quickly. The economy in Denver is also very strong right now, so students definitely have an easier time paying for things as opposed to some other cities like New York or Miami or Los Angeles. Those can be pretty expensive cities. But so far, Denver has been a pretty affordable place to live. Okay, so I told you that we're an urban public research university. We're the only one that's located in the state of Colorado. We have about 15,000 students and 1,100 of them are international students. We have ESL Academy on our campus, and we also just opened up a pathway program. So if your English is so-so and you don't get the scores that you want on the exams, which we'll talk about later, there's an option to study English at the same time that you're starting your degree program. And a lot of different universities will have that. Some of them have, you know, partnerships with English language institutions off campus. And then some schools will have an ESL or an English language institution on their campus like us. So we are located in the heart of downtown Denver. Here's another view of the Anschutz Medical Campus. So our medical programs are world-class. We have 6 professional health schools. We have dentistry, medical, public health, and a lot of awesome schools to study at. I do want to pause for a second. So for those of you who are interested in studying medicine in the United States, the way that you do that is you pursue your undergraduate degree, and that's 4 years. Then you will go on to study in medical school, which is about 3 more years. If you want to specialize in something else, then you will be spending more time in school as well. So it takes some time to get a medical degree in the United States. That also goes for studying veterinary studies. So if you're interested in taking care of animals, a medical degree would take some time, or a veterinary degree would take some time too. In addition to dentistry. So if you're interested in becoming a dentist, you will also spend about 10 years in school too. But that's a great profession right now to study in, because there is going to be a shortage of dentists soon in the United States. We also have a pharmacy program online. It's called the iPharmD. And some fantastic public health programs. I do want to add that if you're interested in studying at the graduate level, our public health, School of Public Health has an option for international students to have in-state tuition in their 2nd year. So that may be something that you want to consider. Okay, so our ESL Academy, for those of you who will be interested in studying English at the University of Colorado, Denver, we have 5 different levels of English available. Some students will come and they'll study at the level 5, which is the last level, and that students who graduate from level 5 can have direct admission into the university once they complete that program. So a lot of great options to get to campus, start studying, start acclimating to the US system, and then begin your studies. And like I said, we have a pathway program, so you can study English and start your degree at the same time. So definitely contact us to discuss that further, because that program requires specific TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo scores. So okay, rankings and programs. So all different institutions in the US have a different ranking, and some have specific rankings for their programs. And there's a lot of different rankings out there. What you want to know is that there are 4,500 institutions in the US, and there's a lot of different types of institutions to choose from. CU Denver is ranked in the top 5%, and we have some great ranked programs like our Master's in Public Administration on campus. But I would say what you really want to pay attention to and focus on is whether or not that school is a fit for you. That is the most important part. You want to decide if you want to study in a city or you want to study somewhere that's in the suburbs or in a rural area. You want to look into information about the program that's available for you and what you want to study. And you want to see if the school is a culture fit for you. So maybe you want to go to a public institution or a private institution, or maybe you want to focus on going to a Christian institution. You know, this is a really personal experience, and I would say that while taking the rankings into mind is important, you also want to connect with the people at the school itself, and you want to feel comfortable with them, because there's a lot of great educational programs in the US and all over the globe. Okay, so we talked about some career outcomes. Here are some more facts related to career outcomes. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this, but I'm going to let you know that any institution in the US will have a career services office, and they'll be able to help you with things like creating your resume or preparing for interviewing in the US, because it may be culturally different. They also will have fairs with different employers and connections so that you are able to work on campus during your schooling and then off campus for your OPT. So definitely look into that when you're looking into a school. Okay, so we talked about Denver. I'm going to move on from here because we want to focus more on the application process. So let's talk about student life. So student life is very, very important to most institutions. It's definitely important to the University of Colorado, Denver. So here in the picture, you'll see Milo. He is our mascot. I actually have a flat Milo with me today. And so he's there, and he's there at all of our events, making sure that you guys have some fun and you get to celebrate. We have a lot of different student events, and some of them are focused for the whole institution. Some of them are put on by different student organizations. So there are international business student associations, and there are associations based off of different nationalities or cultures. Really, there are so many interests that students have that they usually do create some sort of a club. We here at the University of Colorado a lot of international student events. So we have our global ambassadors, and they're from all over the world, and they create fun activities like going to ski or snowboard, or a bunch of them went to do karaoke recently. We also have internationality, where international students get together and they celebrate and learn about a different culture. So you'll have students from the Middle East bring food and beverages, and we learn about their culture. You write your name in Arabic, lots of fun stuff. So as you can see here on this slide, we have a lot of different organizations that are available for students. We have a focus on wellness. So our wellness center has a climbing wall, we have a gym and a pool. And then lots of outdoor trips to do, like camping. Our students are really active, and I'm sure you'll find this at most institutions as well. What's fun about our school too is that you can rent equipment if you want to go camping. So you could rent a tent, or I rented some snowshoes in order to go climb a 14er, and that's a mountain that is above 14,000 feet, so pretty high. Small class sizes are a part of student life, as well as safety. So our campus is patrolled by security 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Students can also get rides home if they feel unsafe at night. Let's say you're studying late night at the library. There's options to get a ride home. And we have a lot of discounts locally, so that we're making sure that you are comfortable, you're having fun, but also not spending too much while you're here, because we understand that it is expensive to attend school in the United States. Okay, so most schools that you apply to will have a housing option. Some will require that for your first year you live on campus, or your first 2 years you live on campus. Some won't have that requirement. Some will have dorms on campus, some won't. It's all different. At the University of Colorado Denver, we have different options. We have housing on campus, and we're building a brand new dorm for first year students. And we also have options for off-campus housing. And our international student transition team and our global ambassadors work very hard to make sure that there is affordable housing for international students. And you know, the price varies too. So when you are looking at your I-20 amount, which is the amount of tuition and fees, housing, and books, you know, housing is one of those costs that may vary. So it may look one way on the I-20, but maybe you spend less. You never know. Okay, great segue into tuition and fees. So here are the amounts for the undergraduate, graduate, and ESL Academy. You'll notice that they're all different. And also, the amount may change based off of, you know, whether or not you receive scholarships or loans, or if there is a special type of grant for your program if you're at the graduate level. So for the undergraduate amount, we have put together how much we think it would cost a student to attend school at the University of Colorado Denver in 1 year. And that amount at the bottom, the I-20 amount, is the amount that you'll need to show in your bank account in order to get a visa. So what happens during the immigration process is you fill out your immigration clearance form, and then you present financial documents. You may present scholarship letters or loan letters, and then you would submit bank statements as well. And all of that should add up to the I-20 amount. Then from that point, we generate your I-20. So that's your document that you bring to your visa interview. What I said before was sometimes the costs vary. So while the I-20 amount is the amount that you should have to show for your visa application, it's not necessarily the amount that you are going to be spending. As for the University of Colorado Denver, we do have scholarships available, and we are connected to a website called Scholarship Universe, and that allows students to both look at scholarships at the University of Colorado Denver and outside of the University of Colorado Denver. So here's more information about scholarships here. And this is what we have at the University of Colorado Denver. There are some institutions that have NCAA sports and those institutions could offer sports scholarships. So that's an option too. Our scholarships at the University of Colorado Denver are merit-based, so it's really based off of GPA. So you will want to have a GPA somewhere in the A B range. So, you know, it differs. And then we have programs like the University Honors and Leadership Scholarship Program. There are a lot of options to finance your education, and there's a lot of money out there. I have to say that sometimes I'm giving out scholarship funds, and it's been hard to find students to give them to. So always ask the institution. That's very important. And also, you know, again, you do have the opportunity to work on campus. So I calculated how much someone could make on our campus if they made the lowest amount, which is $12 an hour, and they worked the maximum number of hours. So they worked 20 hours during the school semester, and then 40 hours when school was not in session. And I calculated that one person could make $15,000 US during a whole year. So there are ways to help contribute to your education, especially if your parents are asking you to do so. And there's just a lot of funds out there. So always ask your school what's available. Okay, so for the application, and this is the undergraduate level, each school will have different deadlines. Some of them do what's called rolling admission, which is what we do at the University of Colorado Denver. We make our decisions every Tuesday and Thursday. So when you're going through the application process, you know, that's something that's important to know when the deadline is so that you can get your requirements in on time. As far as our requirements go for the University of Colorado Denver, you all have to fill out the application form. We have our own application form. Some schools may participate in the Common App, and the Common App allows you to apply to, I think, up to 20 schools at a time. I wouldn't suggest that. Keep narrow to about 4 or 5 institutions. But you will have to fill out some sort of a form. Next is the application fee. This is different for each school, and also there are opportunities to have that waived. So if you are concerned about that, always ask the institution that you're applying to if they would waive, because there's a strong likelihood that that's a possibility. So for us, we require your complete transcripts. These are your grades or your notes. It's your report card from your institution. As far as Brazil goes, we would just require your grades. And then we will need to see an English translation. So if your transcripts are in English already, that's great. But we would need to see an English translation if they're in Portuguese. I'd also add that we will make decisions based off of unofficial transcripts, but we need official transcripts once you get to school and before the end of your first semester. That varies with different institutions. We know that it's difficult to get a transcript that's in a sealed envelope and get your official transcript. So you want to make sure that you check in with admissions folks, because that is something that varies too. One thing also related to your transcripts and the evaluation of your grades, some institutions will require you to go to World Education Services, WES, or ECE. Some of them do evaluations at the university. That's how we do it at the University of Colorado, Denver, just so that applicants don't have to spend extra money on that service. So in that case, you would send your transcripts directly to us, and you wouldn't send them somewhere else. And then finally, evidence of English language proficiency. So at the University of Colorado, Denver, I think we might have this one. Let's just take a look. Okay. So at the University of Colorado, Denver, we take a couple different exams. We take the IELTS, the TOEFL. We now take Duolingo. So now would be a good time, since most of you are at home and doing remote teaching and learning. You might want to focus on getting your Duolingo test knocked out and filling out your application and getting that done. We also take the PT Academic, and we do accept IB level A. In regard to the IB courses and AP and A levels, for those specific types of exams, we also may accept some of those exams as transfer credit. So we do sometimes grant up to 24 credits for those programs. So that may be a way for students to cut down on the cost of their education too, if you're taking those types of examinations. So those can work for both English language proficiency and gathering credits. And that's something you'll want to ask about if you are taking those sort of courses. You'll want to connect with the admissions office on that. And then if you're going to a school that is accredited in the US, the UK, or Canada, that also counts towards our English language proficiency. So completion of a secondary degree at those institutions accredited in those countries. I'm going to go back, okay? So we talked about the Links Direct pathway. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. For those of you interested in applying at the graduate level, there are still those same requirements, but you may have to take a GRE or GMAT examination. You may need to provide letters of recommendation, and also provide your resume and an essay or a statement of purpose. At the graduate level, the requirements vary a bit more, so you really want to focus on going to that program's page. They have different requirements, different deadlines, and different scholarships available. So you definitely want to check in with your school. At the University of Colorado, Denver, we do have conditional admission for both undergraduate and some graduate programs. So what that means is, if your grades are great and you have most of your stuff in, but you're still working on providing proof of English language proficiency, we will give you conditional admission to the university, and you just need to concentrate on getting that last requirement taken care of. But we do make admissions decisions before we have English language proficiency. And that happens at both the undergraduate and graduate level. Okay, so those of you applying to graduate school, here are some exceptions for GRE waivers. I'm not going to linger on that too long, but there are institutions that, well, each institution differs in what examinations they require, both at the undergraduate and graduate level. So this is just an example of that. Okay. Okay, I'm just looking at the questions quick, see if there's anything relative. Okay, so IB diploma, it does help with the application in some circumstances, mainly with English language proficiency. Okay, official transcripts with translations attached. Yes, Fernanda, that's awesome. A transcript, Camila, So yeah, transcripts are, I think Fernanda might have, might have taken care of that. Yeah, so their grades, notes, or report card. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, I think my colleague's information is on here, but we do have our Facebook and our Instagram available for you, as well as our website. And you can also use that phone number and that application at ucdenver.edu to contact us. So now I can take any further questions that you may have. Happy to answer anything. I can look in the chat. Trying to think of other things. So I will say that right now you may be curious as to what's happening at the University of Colorado Denver with some classes. And all of our students are taking class online right now, or what we call remote teaching and learning. So their classes are still happening. Some of them are working from home too. And the plan is for everyone to go back to school and back to work as soon as it's safe for everyone to be in the community. So similar situation as you guys, but we're feeling really positive that everything will soon go back to normal.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your presentation. I think you took a lot of the questions that were in the chat, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so, gente, se alguém tiver mais alguma pergunta e quiser mandar agora pelo chat, caso contrário, a gente tem o contato da Mary também, e vocês podem pedir para a gente mandar perguntas diretamente para ela, ou entrar direto em contato com o EducationUSA para a gente ajudar vocês com qualquer dúvida. A gente gravou essa sessão, então se alguém precisar de alguma informação, podem entrar em contato com a gente. So I just asked if anyone has any last questions, but it seems like no questions are coming in. So thank you, Mary, very much for the presentation. Hopefully the situation will be fixed soon and we can send a lot of Brazilian students to Denver. And yeah, if anyone has any other questions, please let us know. You can contact us at Education USA directly, or we can send you Mary's contact information. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come and listen. It's great to be connecting with everyone around the world and to be able to share some time together while we're all at home.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's a good time for everyone to be thinking about their application. So if anyone needs any help with the application, contact the Education USA office closest to you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye, guys.